My name is Mehra. I work as an HR business partner for a tech company called SingleInterface. And I'd love to share that HR happened just by chance for me. I did not plan to be an HR when I was graduating and studying college, but this is something that I picked up as I started working as a techie way back in 2012. It's a very interesting story, and I absolutely fell in love with HR when I was working as a tech resource way back in 2012. And I think one thing that absolutely resonates the most with this profession is how do you connect with people, how do you ensure that you build great relationships and also have an impactful, meaningful work. So this is something that I relate the most to what I do and what I believe in my entire life. And another thing which I absolutely want to share with everybody that I come in touch with, whether he or she is a starter or if they have completed a journey in their life, is that to never stop and to really not let the failures get onto you, not even the successes to get onto you. I think I genuinely advise everybody and myself every day in and day out that keep moving towards your goals. And even if you don't have any goal, I think just to be out of your home is really, really important. I see a lot of people these days just glued to their screens, to their beds, and to their home spaces and comfort zones because, luxury is loved by everybody. But I genuinely advise this to myself and everybody that I come in touch with is to get out of their homes and hustle. Even if it's going to the gym or going to any place that you want to meet someone for, or just starting your own thing, or just doing something which is worthwhile. Not of course hitting the pub and the bar and then drinking your way down to endless issues, but just do something worthwhile and keep doing that. I think that's what I always tell people around me. And the third thing which I absolutely love and I would love to share, especially after today's session, is that Hive School is something that did touch a chord with me because I've always believed in having and doing work which has an impact. And when I say impact, I don't mean that you need to have something substantial in one go. Even if you act or rather take one small step towards a solution or towards something which has a meaning to yourself, it has a great ripple effect. For example, you just greet someone with a smile in the morning, you will see the other person greet further ahead. So I genuinely believe in all these things, and I think Hive School is doing a fantastic job in ensuring that people learn on the ground and not wait for their corporate careers to start. But I think when you learn early on in your journey, you become really, really smart. When I look at my journey, I think it took us a long time to really get to the ground levels, but Hive School is doing a fantastic job ensuring that people learn on the ground from day one, which is what I observed today, and this is fantastic. So when I was working as a techie, I was really good friends with my HR team, and this was unlike my entire other batch who were not really good friends with the HR team. So that did, strike a chord with me as to why am I connecting with the HR team more than anyone else, because they did make an impact in terms of how they made me feel, because I was new to the city. I was in Hyderabad and I'm from Chandigarh, so that was a big culture change for me. And how they ensured that I, be happy and at peace and at comfort throughout that entire 6 months was very captivating for me. Because I was a newbie right out of my comfort zone to a city where I knew no one, and I thought that this is something which did connect with me at various levels. Maybe because I was also that kind of person and I had not really explored that side of my personality and character, and I did spend a lot of time on it, rather 2 years. So I did take a lot of time to contemplate and to observe and to see what I want to do my entire life professionally. And then I zeroed down on 2 professions, which was mass comm and HR, and I was very sure about it. And it was a very well-paying job. It was one of the best jobs anyone could ever have at that time, because engineering had taken up like the best profession in the world. And I was working as SAP Consultant, but I said that okay, I'm going to leave everything, go back to my city, study HR, and understand, how can I be a good HR. And that's how my shift happened. But, sometimes you just don't know how life changes for you, right? You're just moving at a general pace, doing what you want to do. But there's something that, catches your attention, and then you try to work on it. But you have to work on it. So you have to take some really tough calls, So yeah, there are many stories around that, but this was the highlight. I was a pathetic orator. No one could listen to me, even if the person was sitting next to me. Like I'm talking and the person just was had no clue of what I was talking about. So this is something that I honed over the years for sure. But also because I was interested in it. So I was a good reader. During my school days, I used to read a lot. I used to write a lot. But I was never someone who could speak really, really well. I could speak well, but I could not speak at that frequency and at that pitch. But I was interested in it. So, this is a very interesting question, because sometimes you don't know what you're good at and you have to explore. So, and then when you explore it, it's a cakewalk. There are no efforts then, you just keep riding on it. And then you make efforts for certain other things which will help your strengths to shine. So that's what I've been observing, and I think when it's such a kind thing from you to say that, but honestly this is something that you learn as you go, and you keep getting better at it. I think the most important thing is to be a great communicator, irrespective of the language. In fact, I think, and I say this to myself before I advise it to anyone else, is to learn multiple languages. This skill to really hone languages is a skill very much which is underrated at the moment. I think to be able to really communicate well, whether it's in Hindi, English, Punjabi, and specifically English, because this is the common language across the globe. And if you can hone one or two more languages, the world is a very small place for you, So while I may have missed on learning few languages myself, but I really advise this to people to be able to be absolutely awesome in one language, which is English, because it helps you. It helps you to communicate, it helps you to break barriers. The second most important thing, I think, is to explore. If you explore, you're gonna get to what you want to do in your career. And exploring cannot happen in wrong environments. And I can't stress more on this, because I experience this and I'm a learner and I'm learning. Your environment matters a lot. So try being around folks and people who really, can inspire you, can really help you to do well in your life, and not in an environment where you'll go 10 notches down. So I think that has to be the starting point, because I see this a lot, the environment and the company that you're in matters a lot. So you may be around people probably who are not doing anything, because of their mindsets or something. You have to be around hustlers, you have to be around people who are really working hard and doing something in their life, and you'll be able to figure out where you want to be. And that is something you have to figure out. Your social media at your display, everything is just a click away. So, like for example, we've all come here, right? It's an effort. Everybody has made that effort. So I think I encourage myself and everybody to just walk out of their homes and go to places where people are doing some good work. I think that is where you'll get to the right point, because if I say that you have to do this and that, it will not resonate with people, right? Because you don't know what they want to do in their life. Even they don't know what they want to do with their life. So you have to be in environments which are common to you to be able to understand where you belong. And then you'll feel alive yourself. Like when I felt that I want to do HR, it was not funny or weird for me. It was something very serious for me, and then you hear it yourself. It comes from within, right? Okay, this is where I belong and this is where I don't belong. And that can only happen when you're in communities. And social media probably has, it's both a boon and a bane. So, the boon is that you get so much at your display, but the bane is that you don't be part of communities. Be part of communities as much as you can. I think for sales and HR, firstly, none of these roles are gender specific roles. They're all gender neutral roles, honestly. In fact, all roles are gender neutral roles. But there are few traits and qualities which both of them bring on the table, right? What a man brings on the table, a woman cannot, and what a woman brings on the table, a man cannot. So I think it has to be a mix. So, but what I look for definitely is EQ and attitude, because and women have that more apparently, because they're multitasking, they're overthinking also, and then they are, into multi dimensions in their head. So that makes them arrive at certain decisions which men sometimes cannot. Men are very unidirectional, and I say this on the podcast, but this is true, and everybody will agree with it, and that's the nature of it, right? So women bring that qualities on the table, and that's why you will see more women in HR than more men, because it's a lot of emotional work in HR. You're gonna get overwhelmed, you're gonna hire people, fire people, or you're gonna have tough conversations, and you have to go into the depth of it. Similarly in sales, you have to get to the scratch, you have to get to the zero of how things are starting and what the client is asking for you. Now that also needs a very wide spectrum of thought processes, which again women sometimes bring on the table. And I think both the genders complement each other, but as a woman I'll obviously say that women can work the best, but it has to be a collaboration. See, nothing can work without collaborations. My suggestion to myself and my team always is that hire a mix. Hire both the genders equally, because otherwise you're going to die down. You can't have all women team members, we're going to die. So we need men to add value to certain things which women cannot add value to sometimes, so it's like that. With all modesty, I would say that I'm learning myself, but what I'm observing the most is that running after money, running after your goals is becoming a priority for a lot of people, and has always been a priority, which is great. No life is a good life without all of this, but I genuinely feel that being very connected to your families, to your communities, to your friends, and also to where you come from, and when I say where you come from is from a spiritual point of view, I think that's really missing. And I think if you inculcate that, I think the world will be a beautiful place to live in, to be able to really remember where you come from and be very modest and grounded and keep learning, and also to give back as much as you can. Some people say I have nothing to give back, but that's not true. Even if you earn nothing right now, or you're nowhere in your life, you still have a lot of value to add. So I think everybody should be very collaborative, should be respectful to each other, and everybody should just give. Like I'm here, as someone who genuinely wants to understand what's happening, right, in Hive School. And when I say that, I mean to say it from a perspective, what can I give, So I think you really have to think like that, and I'm learning myself, but this is my observation, and I thought I'm going to share this. But yeah, that's about it.